It is Grey Cup Sunday, and here on Bonfire Sports, we're looking towards a very interesting game, a Grey Cup rematch between the Ticats and the Blue Bombers. Darrin Bauming here alongside Nick Kowalski, and of course, with championship games and lots of interest across the country and now across the globe, people might want to put a little sprinkle on the game. And well, you've got some areas that you are interested in. It starts at, well, maybe the most important position on the football field.
Yeah, the Hamilton quarterback situation, I think, is one area where some lines are a little short, and in particular with Dane Evans. So Dane Evans, I'm going over on his attempts, which are 23 and a half passes in the entire game, and I'm also going to be going over on his completions, which are at 16 and a half. I think this could be a game where Hamilton gets behind early, abandon the run. They like to pass it to begin with. They threw 41 times back in week 1 against Winnipeg, so I like Evans to go over both those numbers. But that said, I do like under 1.5 touchdown passes specifically for Dane Evans. And the reason why, Winnipeg's defensive secondary just simply doesn't give up majors, through the air at least. They're the only team this year to give up single-digit scores.
That leads to receiving and some numbers that might pique some interest.
Yeah, we're talking receiving here, but I'm looking at the running backs when it comes to receiving. I like both the running backs in this game. The starters, Andrew Harris for Winnipeg, Don Jackson for Hamilton. I like them both to catch over 1.5 balls tomorrow or in today's game. And the reason why, Saskatchewan running backs caught 4 balls last week on Winnipeg. Andrew Harris led Winnipeg with 5 catches in the 2019 Grey Cup, and I know his production in that area may have took a hit this year, but everything's going to be on the table tomorrow, and I think Harris can play a big role through the air. Another person I like to go over his yards in this game is Kenny Lawler. Kenny Lawler's been a guy all year. His total's listed at 65 and a half. I think Winnipeg's going to line him up in the slot, get him moving before the snap, and they can even put him on the field side where, in my opinion, Hamilton's weaker at compared to their boundary right now.
That is without a doubt an advantage of this Blue Bombers receiving core. They do move the guys around quite a bit. But of course, when there is rushing and receiving and passing numbers, somebody's got to take the guy down. Tackles is an area where you can place some bets in this game.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Simoni Lawrence there. Simoni Lawrence, he had 17 tackles back in Winnipeg in 2019. Remember that game?
I do.
Yeah, so his over-under is listed at 4.5. And if Andrew Harris is getting the 20 carries a game like he got last week, I think Simoni goes over that easily. He's a will linebacker. He's often involved in plays. I think that's an easy one for an over there. Another over I like is Adam Bighill. It's at 5.5, but Bighill's been around the field all year. Again, as a middle linebacker, 5.5 ain't that bad. He had over that in week 1, and he had over that last week too. So I think it's going to keep going over for Bighill.
Throughout Grey Cup week, lots of people talking about you have championship games, but to have one this star-studded, Simoni Lawrence, Adam Bighill, the East and West Division nominees respectively, and Bighill coming away with most outstanding defensive player. The first touchdown of championship games can sometimes be a different looking one. What are you expecting?
So the first touchdown prop is one I typically like to throw darts at. And what I mean by that is a shot in the dark, more of a long shot. And who better than Drew Wolitarsky at plus 2,800, which means that every dollar you put, you get $28 back on that bet. So I think there's some great value there for a starting receiver. I mean, last week, Drew Wolitarsky had the ball on the 1-yard line, and that would have been the first touchdown of the game.
Right.
So think about it this week. I think there's a good potential. Again, he's on that field side a lot. He's the receiver on the field side, and I think Hamilton's weaker there. So I don't mind throwing a little bit on Wolitarsky to get the first touchdown of the game. Another dart I like, and the reason I do this is kind of a shot in the dark for a lot of reasons, but Jeremiah Masoli is on the board for first touchdown. He is plus 3,300, so even better odds for that. And Masoli, the reason why I like that, we saw him a bit running short yardage last week after he got benched for Dane Evans. He could be out there again, and if the Ticats decide to go with Masoli for short yardage and the ball's at the 1-yard line, that's almost a shoo-in.
No, in a championship game where every single play matters, you will see teams do some unorthodox things or unexpected things to try to gain an advantage on their opponent. Appreciate this, Nick, and thanks for joining us here on Bonfire Sports. Enjoy the Grey Cup game, and happy betting.
Yeah, are we going to give a score prediction here? Are we going to go that far?
Let's do it.
All right, okay. So we got Bombers -3. I think the over-under is 44 for this game. I'm going to go 26-21 for Winnipeg. So I have the Bombers covering the spread, and I have the over in this game.
I have a 31-19 Winnipeg Blue Bombers win, and well, you never know in these games, but the weather is supposed to be good. I think these teams will score.
Yeah, I agree too, especially the weather is going to play a big role in that, and should be a great game nonetheless.
How about the numbers from this kid? Thanks again. for joining us on Bonfire Sports, and all the best to you at the 108th Grey Cup.